And we had Damian Priest retaining his World Heavyweight Championship against Drew McIntyre in Glasgow. Josh, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I thought the match was solid. I liked it. Of course, it was a scary part with Damien in the ropes. But I do think the match was solid overall, and I do like the ending too with CM Punk coming out and doing his shenanigans, and just of course the camera work with how they had it. Like you saw, of course, like no regular referee's gonna come up with some Nikes on, so you kind of thought like, okay, this is not a regular referee. But then they turned the camera and Drew had it sold it right because he wasn't looking at the referee. Then he turned around and looked at it. It was like, so I think that it was really good with the ending and everything, and such a heartbreaker for Drew. Such a second year in a row.
Absolutely.
Such
It
a
was year before, but
Oh,
I
okay.
get your point. Are
Yeah.
you so you're saying you knew it was CM Punk because the referee was too fresh?
Well, yeah, pretty much. Yes, actually, yeah. No referee's gonna come out there with Nikes.
You know, the funny part about so first, no referee in that ref bump spot. I was expecting CM Punk to get involved in it a little bit sooner, because when they did the spot where he hit the Claymore on Damien outside the ring and he went to the barricade,
Self-preservation.
the camera stayed at that little area a little bit too long, and I was thinking that Punk was going to come out there and low blow him or do something
Mm.
at that point and get involved, but he didn't show up. And it only made sense for Punk to be involved in it because he's been tormented Drew, and realistically, what else is going to happen? I mean, to me, it makes it fairly obvious whenever somebody gets banned from ringside, someone else is going to get involved. It's pretty much
Yeah.
a given.
I was literally going to text you before. I was like, "There's going to be interference in this match."
Oh
I was
yeah.
definitely going to text you that. It was either, and I was thinking it was either going to be CM Punk or Carlito, whichever one. Because Carlito's technically not part of Judgment Day, so I think you probably get away with
Yeah.
that. I was like, once I saw some pictures online, I was like, it's definitely more than likely going to be CM Punk somehow. But and
What
I
pictures
didn't,
did you
I
see?
didn't just that CM Punk was there. So I just
Oh,
figured,
of
yeah,
course.
he was there. So yeah, okay. So yeah, he's gonna be involved somehow. Just that he was in Scotland, but I didn't think he was gonna do something outside the ring. I knew if he was gonna be interference, it was gonna be him costing him the match, not just like
Not one of the ones that I
slick
hate,
interference.
but this was an actual one that, yeah.
Yeah, they actually like costing a match. And
Correct.
of course, as soon as the ref went down, like the ref did the slick dive out the ring the first
Oh
time.
yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, that was
I've
interesting. And
never
then
seen a ref that agile.
quick as like it was dodging like football, like he was playing football or some shit, but quick as hell. And then he get hits outside the ring, and then he goes. I was like, okay, yeah, something about to happen. I was like, either Carlito or CM Punk, something like that. But I do like the interference. It wasn't just like a regular come out and just low blow him or something. He came out as a ref, slick, like one, two. He got his shoulder. It was just, I just loved it. It was really good.
I like the execution of it. This is exactly what a lot of people did not want, but the way they did it, I think it worked. And real quick back to the ref. I think the ref even tweaked his leg when he dove out the ring. Did you see that?
Yeah, he started limping. It's possible. I wasn't
They
too
don't
sure.
usually move like that, so I wouldn't be surprised. But
Uh,
then when that bump spot came, and like you said, CM Punk, the interference, I think that was very well done. My biggest concern, the thing that I was most curious about, was the crowd reaction, because they were saying, "Oh,
mm,
Scotland and the people of Glasgow, they're gonna riot if Drew
mm.
doesn't." No, they're not. No, they're not. But they didn't boo CM Punk. I was expecting "FU CM Punk" chants or something of the sort, but it was just they got silent. They got really
I
quiet.
think
Did you know what I'm saying?
I did hear actually some boos, but it wasn't like a crazy like what you
No,
saying. Yeah, it wasn't like FUCM Punk. You're like, yeah, it wasn't
not
like
what you
a
would expect,
what happened. Yeah, and then of course he was like actually taking pictures with some of the fans. So
which was
it was
insane.
yeah. So it was interesting. I mean, Of course, when they was born for a little bit, it did kind of make him seem like a heel type. And what you said before kind of echoed in my head of like they don't want CM Punk to be a heel. And I was
No.
thinking, okay, this is Scotland. This is not necessarily the reaction of everybody in the States because it's like completely opposites. Drew is actually the heel and CM Punk is the babyface. So,
Right.
um, I wasn't. I figured it would be some type of boo, some type of boo with CM Punk, but I thought it was appropriate, But I think
Yeah.
the way they was hyping Drew up in the beginning, like him being his hometown, him gonna come back, and he came back here when he was released by the WWE to reinvent himself or stuff like that. They make it seem like they should have booed CM Punk because they screwed him out of something.
Absolutely. That
So
was a travesty, man. Just from an overarching standpoint of Drew McIntyre, not within the confines of the story itself, but his story specifically. You don't get many opportunities like this to crown a champion in their hometown in such a massive venue like that. You don't. And this has been two times because the first time was in Wales, which is not where he's from, but they branded it as that when he's fighting Roman. He did it at his coronation there. Then you have this second one here in Glasgow where he's actually from. And I don't know if he's ever going to have a moment that big or has the possibility of a moment of that magnitude. I think for sure he's going to be a world champion once more in the future, at least once more. But I could see several more title reigns. But the point is, you can't. It's really hard to capture lightning in a bottle, and sometimes you just have the opportunity to do so. And if you miss it, you miss it. And I feel like this was a miss here. But within the confines of what's actually going on with Priest, with Gunther, with the World Heavyweight Championship, with Punk, and everything, I think that this makes a pretty coherent story moving forward. And I'm definitely interested in seeing what happens on Monday. Let's talk a little bit about the actual match, though.
mhm.
This match, so the main thing that I got from it was, for one, that it was a bit of a strange distribution of the offense starting the match, because typically the heel, they'll start working predominantly the more aggressive role in the match. That didn't happen with this one. At first, it was kind of like a little bit 50-50, and then Drew got it, and then, Priest started to fight back a little bit. But the main thing, the main takeaway was when Damian had his mishap where he got caught up in the ropes. That was one of the scariest spots I've seen in quite some time. And a lot could have went wrong there, but I'm glad it didn't. But the way he handled it after that, because just because there is a small chance, but I really don't think that was planned. It wasn't. You'd be really hard pressed to convince me.
I literally saw some people saw up there that it was intentional. Like people were they did it on purpose, basically, and I was just like, no, that was not definitely not
No.
on purpose. You
Did
cannot
you
do that.
see the
No.
ref? Did you see
Yeah, yeah,
Drew?
I saw the ref. I think Drew played it off well. Like he did the best that he could when he was like, I can't get him out. So he's like, I need to get him out of this. Because
And
I
he started
can't pin him
stomping
like
him
this.
too.
Like he's like, yeah, I can't pin him like this, and he started stomping him, like playing off of it. But the ref was like literally trying to get him off, like trying
Yeah.
to take the rope. So no, it was definitely not
He was hung
intentional.
for a minute too.
Yeah, he was there, definitely here for a minute. So yeah, I'm glad that he was all right though, because that could have been bad. Like he could have, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
The
hurt
major
himself.
point, well, I still think there's a possibility he could have hurt himself, because regardless of whether or not uh, that spot was, regardless of whether or not you think the spot was planned, it wasn't. But let's say, okay, we don't know.
Hmm.
The way he handled it, incorporating that injury to his ankle into the how the match went, in terms of him selling it, I actually do think he actually might have tweaked something, because you don't get hung up going that fast at that size on a rope and snatch with, it's just there has to have been some effect. He didn't come out there unscathed, so I don't know
Yeah,
how much the selling was real or not.
no, I do think sometimes he definitely oversold it, but he wasn't like completely unscathed, like you said. I do
Right.
believe that he did have probably some type of soreness because that was like you said, he was going fast and he's like a big guy, so it was just. And then if you see it like in replay in real motion, it's just like whoa, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like whoa, yeah. But yeah, I do think he wasn't completely unscathed, but I do think it was certain times where he was just like like he wasn't like I don't think he has a broken ankle or a fracture or anything like that, and
I
probably a
hope
sore
not.
ankle, probably a sore ankle. So, but
If he does that, the Judgment Day is cursed, man, because that's 3 people out with injuries. So I really hope that's not the case. But the
Oh
point that
yeah.
I was making here is that he cemented himself as a main event level talent, not only because his previous work, he's always been a good hand in his work with Bad Bunny they did at the Puerto Rico event. That was pretty much what solidified him. Said yes, it was a sign that we trust him to work at a main event level with a talent who isn't an actual wrestler. So you have to be very safe in order to work with a singer who's somebody who's not a wrestler that might train a little bit just to put on a match. So they had a lot of faith in him then. And then he got the championship. They didn't book him as they probably should have. But even in this caliber of match, when you have something such as that mishap with the rope, he was able to adapt and keep his composure and still put on a high quality match. That was what I really took away from this. So regardless of whether or not he kept the championship or not, which we both had him retaining, but I think that this really solidified him as a future main event talent going forward. So of course, I really do believe Gunther is going to take his belt from at SummerSlam. Yes, that is going to happen, but this will not be Damien's last run at the top, and he's far from a Jack Swagger in which some people were trying to compare him to a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I would agree with definitely how he kept the match going, just like the psychology of whether he was hurt or not, he still sold it like he was hurt, and then
Yeah.
incorporating that into the match was really good, though. So yeah, I definitely agree.
It would have pissed me off if he would have just got back up like nothing ever happened.
Just like walking normal, it was like okay,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, okay. But yeah, I mean, I think the best wrestlers do that though. Of course, like if they find something like that happens, then they're gonna take advantage of it. So yeah, but I was gonna ask, what do you think the storyline of this is gonna happen? Like, so now you think Gunther is gonna be faces? He's gonna start as the new rival.
Mhm.
So how do you think that's gonna go?
Well, Gunther's gonna take his belt. I don't know. I don't know how we get between point A and Z,
I,
but I do know what Z is.
Yeah, I agree. I have no confidence in this prediction, but I think Damien will become babyface in the next rivalry with Gunther, and hopefully that'll be because of a fallout with Judgment Day. Maybe they'll finally do that, and he'll become babyface, and then because I don't know if I want a heel versus heel with him and Gunther. I don't know how entertaining that would actually be. I think Damien really got what he wanted, which was be the heel in this match. Because, everybody booing him, him being the ultimate heel while Drew is the babyface because they're in Scotland. But
Yeah,
I think he should definitely be come over to the other side.
the light side of the
Yeah,
force. This definitely does take Drew out of the championship picture, at least for the foreseeable future.
he gives him a rival with CM Punk because I think
He
CM
has to
Punk,
deal with him.
yeah, because I think that I think CM Punk is about cleared now. He's almost there. So I think that rivalry is going to be really good when it starts to gets to its climax, and it could be a long time too. Who knows how? Because they set it up as they legit hate each other. So CM Punk
Yeah,
has screwed him. He Drew injured CM Punk. So
that
yeah.
begs the question though. Let me ask you this: does CM Punk deserve the ass kicking? Like, who's more justified in this dynamic between he and McIntyre?
Well, I think it depends on how you look at it. Really, you could say that CM Punk is delivering karma to Drew because he injured him, where I guess CM Punk is taking it overboard because he did get him once, but you're still doing it. Like, okay, you got me. Like, I can't do nothing to you because you're still injured. But so, I mean, I guess it really depends on how you're looking at it. I
I
guess.
think it's overkill. What he's doing, he is at this point. I don't give a damn. CM Punk is the heel. Because the first time, fine, okay,
Mm.
that would have been it, and he would have still been justified. But at this point, he's cost Drew 3 times because it was the match at Mania where he attacked him, and then
Well,
Damien cashed in.
technically, but people would say that that was Drew for staying out there and being in CM Punk's face. So was that really CM Punk or was that Drew?
Okay, I'll take that. That
So
was his fault. And then so subsequent to that, there was what match did he cost him after that? It wasn't
it was
the
the
qualifier for King of the Ring.
number one contender match
Right.
with the Fatal 4-Way, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The one that Jay won.
Yeah, and J1, yeah.
Okay. So that one. And then you have this. So I think after that fatal four way, that should have been it if you want still to present Punk in my mind as the baby face. He is no longer the baby face. They have maybe they're both tweeners, or I just think that they're very nuanced characters and they have their very distinct motivations. And I do like this dynamic. They're not going to go in there and have a sportsman-like match where they do a lockup or test of strength. They've done this before with Triple H and Randy, and I pray to God that they don't. If they do this, that takes the feud from here down to here. Do not do that, if at all possible. But yeah, so I was just curious about your thoughts on that. A few great things that I noted from the match was that Michinoku driver that Drew was going to hit Damien with. When Damien came off the corner and he picked him up, and then something didn't go quite right and he had to try it again. That was brilliant improv. And so, I mean, just a recurring theme throughout the night. When things did happen that weren't planned, the men and women involved in these matches, they are main event level talent. They are at the highest peak when it comes to wrestling talent because they were able to adapt very well. And Drew did that. It was very seamless. I mean, I haven't seen anybody give him any slack about that. I'm pretty sure Jade's going to get slack about the rope mishap. I actually threaded that. It sounds funny saying that. I actually threaded that the ropes for this match, for this event, they were the biggest heel of the entire event because they showed their ass in not one but two matches. And it's true. I'm just glad everyone's safe. Damien spinning kicks, even with his injured ankle. Those kicks look lethal. You didn't like them?
Why are you doing that with your injured foot? If your ankle injured, why do that?
I get that, but I just always like Damien's kicks. But to your point, yes. And then the last thing that I didn't like was that kip up spot. I hate kip ups. They're so corny. They're so cliche. They're so played out. Everybody does them these days, and I could have done without that, Drew. But I understand. I'll excuse it for you. But yeah, that's just a thing. And that sequence that they had between the Hurricane Rana from the top rope, Damien's too big to be doing stuff like that. Way too big.
With the injured leg too.
Yes.
He's still doing shit like this. Like, come on, man.
That was
he was probably playing beforehand, but come on.
Correct. But that was really smooth. The segue from the Hurricane Rana into the Claymore. I really enjoyed that, and I think that was as close as we got to actually thinking that Drew was going to usurp him as the champion. Because it came pretty out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere. I was kind of like, he recovered so quick after the Hurricane Rana, like, damn, that didn't really do anything for Drew because he literally, because he got literally right back up into the Claymore. But I love how Damien sold the Claymore, and it was just like, oh, okay, this might be it. It was. I like that sequence. It was really good.
Yeah, Damien took an ass kicking, and my hope is just for him. I think Drew's going to be fine. CM Punk is going to be fine, but how they handle Damian Priest in the immediate future is going to be make or break. They can't just have him lose to Gunther without any sort of consequence or things that are of note within his championship reign. For the simple fact of it makes him look like a fluke champion. He did win only due to the cash-in, the Money in the Bank. Of course, that's the rules, but he only beat Jay because of the Judgment Day interference. He only beat Drew because of CM Punk interference. And
the only person he did beat was Ray, and that's Ray. Like, come on.
Yeah, on a random Monday.
Yeah, like, oh.
And that was just really his championship reign. If you look at it from like what was actually done during the reign, it was very lackluster. But if you look at like the small details and things that were at play, like his performance tonight, absolutely great. And so, like I just said, they just need to be careful how they handle him. And quick note. The rope tangle up situation, it reminded me of SummerSlam 1997. I wasn't watching wrestling then because I was 2 years old, but I had seen clips about this in the past, and there was an event where Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mankind, and Triple H had a triple threat at that year's SummerSlam. Stone Cold, he was on the turnbuckle and he reached over, and he had a similar moment where he got tangled in the ropes, and Triple H was the heel, and they had to figure out how to try to get him loose from it. While I was preparing for this video, I was looking for that clip to watch, and I found a clip of Stone Cold's podcast, and he had a fan write him a letter asking him about that particular incident. Now I tell you this because I have a question for you. Where do you think that fan was from?
Scotland.
Glasgow, Scotland. Isn't that crazy?
Interesting.
Like the fan who asked him a question about getting stuck in the ropes
Hmm.
was from the place where Damian Priest got stuck in the ropes.
Yeah. Overall, it was a good match. That's the only negative with the interference, that it kind of still doesn't legitimize Damien as a true
No,
champion, because it kind of does, like, he kind of needs help. He was going to lose right there if the ref was up, you know. So
that was the point of
I,
this match for him.
yeah, I thought this match would have definitely solidified him as, okay, oh, he can beat Drew in his hometown. Oh, he's definitely, without any interference, Judgment Day not at ringside. Okay, yeah, he got it. But hey, it happens. Maybe he'll go against Rey Mysterio again on Monday, and who knows?
Or Ludwig Kaiser.
Yeah, something. Who knows?
Did you know that Gunther's gonna get him for this? You know that, right?
Oh yeah.
With his quips, it's like you only have to do 50% of the work.
Yep.
Well, you only won the match because of CM Punk.
Oh yeah, he's definitely gonna get it. He's definitely gonna get him.